Okay, what I'm doing here is centering the clay. And I just use pressure from my hands to make it come up in a cone. And then I press down, catching it as it gets wider with my hands, keeping it round and centered. The reason you center the clay first is because it's easier to control with slight pressure from your fingers if it is centered. If it wobbles around, it's harder to have control over what you're trying to do. Now what I do, I'm using a sponge to widen out the platter part of the hors d'oeuvre platter. And then I'm going to fix the handle and toothpick holder area. This serves both purposes. It holds toothpicks, but it also makes a nice handle for carrying the tray. So you fill it up with what little hors d'oeuvres you want, whether it's cheese or ham or olives or whatever. And then you can carry it to the table with this little handle.
That's the third one that jumps
And the
out.
handle can hold toothpicks
And I set them right here.
for folks to use. Now I'm pinching the wall and bringing it up just a little bit. I want it to be just a little bit lower than the handle in the middle. And that's just the way I make them. And then I want to check to see the diameter, and it's just about perfect. So then I'm going to round off the bottom a little bit. I undercut it with my potter's rib. That's what this chunk of wood's called. Clean up my bat a little bit. They call this piece of masonite that I've got the piece on, they call it a bat. I never have been sure why. And then I dry off the inside. And I've got some finger marks in there, but I want them to be a little more pronounced. So I just drag my fingertip across like this. Dry out my sponge. Smooth off some of the sharp on the tops of those ridges. Dry out that corner. Double check my rim, make sure it's good and round. Double check my diameter. And I'm done throwing. And next is to cut it loose. Because overnight this will dry and become leather hard by tomorrow. And that's when I'll turn it upside down and trim the foot ring in the underside. But pulling this wire tight underneath cuts it loose from the bat. And that way it'll kind of pop loose tomorrow. And then I'll take it off and do the trimming. And that's the last of the hors d'oeuvre platters that I'm going to throw today. I'm going to throw some toothbrush holders next. Bye.